Hi there, welcome to a special episode of 90% Knitting. My name is Lisa, also known as Fibernymph, and this is not a regular episode. This is going to be a special episode where I talk to you about my 2019 plans and goals, specifically as they pertain to crafting and a lot of knitting. And then there will also be some more general stuff included also. I'm kind of going to do this in two parts. First, I'm going to go through a lot of WIPs that I have that I want to not have by the end of this year. So I'm going to take you through that. We're going to take a little jaunt through my WIPs. And then when I'm done with that, I think then we'll sit and have a more general discussion about some other things. So we're kind of going from the specific to the broader range. We'll see how it goes. I'm using a new phone holder. It's a tripod and a selfie stick and I don't know what else. It's very wobbly and it's kind of leaning. That's why I'm trying to lean with it. This is kind of interesting. But I think it'll work well to hold the phone while I am at least showing you things. The only problem is where I have to have the level so you can see the things. It's also like right at boob level, so I'm going to try to not just stick my boobs in your face for the whole video. So this is our bed. And look, there's our ironing board. It keeps following me around apparently because it used to be in the other room. Ignore the ironing board. So I have a lot of WIPs, as you can see. I'm not actually even sure that you can see them from this level. Yeah, we're going to just go back to handheld for right now. So this is my WIPs. These are my WIPs. That's better English. I have them sort of categorized, and I'm actually not even sure that they're all entirely here. Okay, we'll try this. The first little bunch of things here are shawls. And actually two of them are quite new on the needles. So this one is my mini maximization shawl, which I did just cast on in December. And I've gotten through the first three colors, so it's coming along lovely. So I'm half finished with this. This I'm definitely going to keep on the needles, obviously, because I just started it and I would like to have it as a show sample for my upcoming show season in the spring. So this is good. This one's staying on the needles. And in case I wasn't actually clear, hi. The whole reason I'm going through these is so that I can decide what I'm doing with WIPs. Most of them I'm probably going to keep on the needles. Some are going to get frogged, but that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, sorry about that. This one is also a new cast on. This is my Hedge Witch shawl that I cast on December 22nd with the knit along that's going on for that. So obviously this is also still going to stay on the needles. This is also eventually going to be a shop sample because I'm using my Ridgetop DK yarn, which is the new non-superwash yarn I'm coming out with this month. So yeah, this is definitely a keeper. That's not going anywhere. Okay, this bag. This is a shawl that I started, I don't even remember when. Probably last year sometime. This is the Shetland Trader Hap shawl. Hansel Hap. I was doing the full version and I was doing it out of hand spun. And this is how far I've gotten so far on that center square that you do. I have no idea how far that actually is or how much further I have to go on it because I haven't looked at this project in a really long time. But I have two more skeins of this yarn and I'm actually not even remembering which breed this is right off the top of my head either, but I really like it and I love the color. It's a really pretty gray. It's sort of looking a little more, well there, if I move out of the light you can see the gray better. It's really pretty. My original plan was to do this completely in neutral, like undyed hand spuns, undyed wools, But I'm actually thinking I may do it in like the parts of it, the main parts in gray, and then add some colored stripes, like hand spun colored stripes in there. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But that's a possibility, I guess, is where we're at. So this is definitely staying on the needles, although it's not a high priority project for me. This, this is my longest, oldest whip that I think I have. I don't remember right off the top of my head when I cast this on. I honestly don't remember. I just know it's my oldest whip that I have. This is the Industrial Revolution Shawl by Hannah Breitz. So there's what that looks like. So it's a circular shawl. You know, me and circular shawls don't particularly get along. But this has been on the needles, again, for many, many years. I don't remember. I just looked at the project page on Ravelry, but I don't remember when I cast this on. I was originally casting this on to make use of stash yarn. I had a whole bunch of this alpaca, which this is Blue Sky alpaca in this gold colorway, and in this orange colorway. I love the colors. They're beautiful. I'm just not real sure that I'm ever going to finish this shawl. I've held off tearing it out though because I like it. I mean, I like the colors. I'm not usually super crazy about knitting with alpaca, but this was very pleasant to work with. It's yarn I've had forever. I got it at the shop that I used to work at, and I don't know. I think the thing that held me back is this has bobbles in it, and the section I'm in is a bobble section. I don't know if you can see. Every once in a while there's a bobble. I may have actually just gone to the point where I decided to leave the bobbles off because I'm not seeing too many of them at the moment. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just so reluctant to rip this out. But the other thing is, I don't think it would actually be very large. I mean, this does not look like a large shawl. So I'm not sure that it's really worth my time and effort at this point because it's not something that I really would use. It's pretty, but I don't think a round shawl that size is something that I would feel completely compelled to use for anything. So I think it's time for this to hit the frog pond, and I'm not sure what I'll do with the yarn, if I'll keep it or get rid of it. I don't know. That remains to be seen, but I'm going to frog the project. It's time. It's just time. Okay, next we're going to move on to sweaters. And this is actually not even a sweater. This is a vest. And if you've been watching the podcast for a while, you might remember this. I cast this on, I think, 2 years ago now. Right around this time of year too. It's out of some Noro. I have just like a ton of Noro Curion in my stash, and I was just basically knitting a vest with no pattern, just kind of winging it. And those are the two front pieces, and that's what I have so far. I'm not sure that I'm really feeling this either, to tell you the truth, now that I'm looking at it. I love Noro. I love the colors. I'm not super crazy about how this was working up, though. I may just frog. I think I'm going to frog this. I think this needs to be frogged. I'm probably never going to finish it. And again, I'm not sure if I'll keep the yarn or not. Some of it I really like the stuff that has this turquoise in it. I really love that, the teal. The others, not so much. And I don't remember. I don't think these were all the same colorway either. I was kind of mixing and matching. So anyway, this is going to go in the frog pond. Frog it. Alright, this is a newer cast on. This was one I cast on this summer for the Woolly Thistle sweater cal, I think it was. And the first, if you'll remember, if you were watching the podcast then, hi, I feel like I should be looking at you when I'm not showing you something actively. Anyway, oh, there's a little piece of Nora. Okay. So, I had originally planned, this is weird. I had originally planned to do a So Faded with 2 different colors of frangipani yarn. However, I then decided that's not what I wanted to do. because I had 2 cones in 2 different colors. But I ended up buying 2 more cones, 1 of each color, so I could just do a full sweater in each color. So this is going to be a so faded, just not faded, it's going to be a solid color. So this is this really pretty purple frangipani. It's a sport weight yarn. It's a Gansey yarn is what it's typically used for. I was just going to knit, you know, this sweater out of it. It's not very far. I cast this on late summer, shortly before we left on vacation, and it was not something I could really take with me on vacation. Oh look, there's needles in here. It's no wonder I can't find needles. I keep them in all these project bags. But anyway, this is the cone of yarn that I had, and the other one is over in my yarn room. So I'm going to keep this on the needles, and I would like to finish it sometime because I think I will actually get use out of it. It just was not a good fit. And I actually think, yeah, I cast this on with some steek stitches. I have steek stitches in there. I think I was planning to steek it into a cardigan. I think that's what those were anyway. Maybe not. I don't remember. I have project notes though, so I'll know what I'm doing. So anyway, I will keep this one around. And just to maintain continuity, this bag has the other frangipani yarn in it, which I wound into balls because I took a lot of this with me on our vacation thinking, oh, I could work on this. No, you can't work on this sweater while you're on vacation on a motorcycle. Sorry. Because this was a lace and cable pattern. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's see, where's the picture? Here it is. This is a Carol Feller sweater, and it is called something. I don't even remember what it was called, and I can't find the name of it. It's in my project pages, though. You know, I wish designers would put the names of their patterns. Oh, it's called Tabbouleh. I wish they'd put all that information on every page, not like in the footer. Anyway, this is just a really neutral color. It's actually almost the same color as my antler cardigan that I made. Totally different yarn, but very similar color. So I had cast this on and I did the back. It's a saddle shoulder construction, so this is like the back and the tops of the shoulders. And that is as far as I got on this sweater before I left on vacation and then did not get to work on it anymore. However, I will work on it more because I really do want this sweater, so it will stick around. Okay, moving along. This, and I look at all these awesome project bags. This is an Amy Beth Fat Squirrel Speaks bag. This is another sweater that I cast on this past year. I cast on a whole lot of sweaters. Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. So let's see if I can find the picture for that one. I cast this on at some point in the summer, maybe early summer last year. And I mean, I made some progress on it. It's not like a newly cast on sweater. But I think I got as, whoopsies, this is all tangled up. I got as far as where you have to start doing all that eyelet stuff. The eyelet stuff, you know, to make the design in the fabric, and that's where it stopped. So, but I do like it. I think I want to keep going on this one. This is one that I'm making out of Elspeth Lavold silky wool. I have a couple of different sweater lots of this, and this was the one I decided to work on, or work with for this project. So I'm going to continue that. Oh look, I even did a swatch. I hardly ever swatch, but I have an official swatch here for this one. Sorry, there's a ceiling light like right above where I'm standing, and I keep standing with my head in the light. You'd get a much better view if I'd quit doing that. Better color. Okay, so this is another sweater that's staying on the needles. And then the last sweater I have in here, although I feel like there's another sweater somewhere, I don't know. This is my Arboreal, and this one is back in rotation. I was actually working on the first sleeve this morning, literally this morning at 1 in the morning, because my back was killing me and I couldn't sleep and I had a horrible headache. So I was up knitting. So you can see I have the start of a sleeve. And it's going along swimmingly. I'm not even paying attention to the directions at this point. I just, because it's the kind of sleeve that you work down from the yoke. So I just put yarn on, picked up the right number, what seemed like the right number of stitches in the underarm, and have been doing decreases every 6 rows, I believe, because it's a pretty full sleeve. And I do keep trying it on every so often to make sure it's coming along right, and it is. So I'm really very close. I mean, look, the sweater body is done. I just need to do the sleeves and then steek it and do the button bands, and this will be a finished sweater. Really hopeful that this will be done before the end of January. That would be awesome. So that's my goal. This is like my top priority sweater right now. So this is a top priority project. My mini maximization shawl and my hedgewit shawl. Those are like the big projects that I'm trying to rotate through right now to keep them going. Okay, so those are those type of garments. Let's see. Let's move on to these bags. This is not exhaustive of this next category. These are blankets or afghans. So this is my Granny Stripes blanket, obviously, which I know you haven't seen in a while, and I really can't even open it up the whole way to show you because it is quite large right now. I mean, it's folded up, but it's taller than I am at this point when I hold it. Well, that's maybe not true. It's close to being as tall as I am. I don't know. I actually haven't held it up to my height ways lately, but I did work on it a little bit over December. This row right here was the first Advent mini I put into it, and so I've only done this many. Obviously, I didn't do all 30 that I did from my Merry Month of Minis, but I'm still working on it, and it's just, I sit down and I work on it every once in a while. But this is getting really close to being finished, actually. If I dedicated some time to this, I could finish this off easily this year, so I would really like to see this done this year. Okay, this bag here has a whole bunch of hand spun in it, and the needles that I need to knit my hand-spun log cabin Afghan squares. I did not bring the bin in here that has all my current squares that I've finished. I showed that to you not too long ago. I think on the episode 300 part B, I think I showed that to you. But anyway, knitting with hand spun is definitely one of my goals for this year, as it always is. But again, I feel like I'm sort of close to being able to have a finished Afghan out of that one. So I just like to keep a bag with hand spun already wound up in balls, and I can work on those squares because those squares don't take very long. So hopefully I'll make a dent in this year as well. I'm trying to think. I know I feel like I have another Afghan project. But it's not, oh, you know what? I have a bunch of squares from an Afghan square swap that I did years and years and years ago. They're not enough squares to make a full-size Afghan. Hi, I'm going to come down here so I can talk to you. But I could probably put them together and make a small throw or something. I feel like I should do something with them because I've had them forever, like 2010 maybe, I don't know. It's been a really long time. That's not even an official project on my project pages though. And then the other thing I have is, remember last year I cut up all of those socks that had holes in them, and I was going to take all those squares and seam them together and make some sort of crazy scrap blanket. I still have the squares. I didn't bring them in here because they're buried in the back of a closet and I can't get to them easily. But I think what I'm going to do instead of that, because I don't need yet another Afghan. Obviously, I've got a lot. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to still seam them together, but I'm going to make a poncho out of them. I think that might be kind of fun, because I really would like a poncho, but I don't really want to knit myself a poncho. I feel like that might be long and boring. Well, there's some fun poncho patterns out there, but I don't know. I just want to try that. So I think that's what those are going to become. So that'll become more of a sewing project than any kind of a knitting project this year. Other side of the bed. Okay, this whole column, I'm not sure if you can see them all. See all these? These are all socks. Sock projects. It's insane. I have decided, and okay, here, I gotta get down here again. This may be the weirdest way I have ever recorded an episode. I have decided, and I need you guys to keep me accountable. Well, you don't need to. I'm an adult. I should be able to keep myself accountable, but feel free to remind me. I am not going to cast on any new socks this year, except for gift socks. I have to do 2 pair of gift socks that I do know I need to do, or that I'm planning to do. But I'm casting on no more new socks until every single one of these pairs of socks are finished or frogged. That is, I just have to. This is ridiculous. I have 11 pairs of socks on the needles. I don't know if they're all right here right now. I think they are, but there are 11 pairs. Now, I will say they do not all have needles in them because I like tear the needles out of them sometimes if I want to start something new. So then I just have needleless projects, and I think I can pick the stitches up. It's not a problem. And it's not a problem. But that's just crazy. I need to finish these socks. So let's go through my crazy sock stash here. Okay, getting up. Oh, sorry. This is such an attractive view of me, isn't it? Gosh. Okay. First project. Oh, okay. This actually doesn't even have a sock in it. This is the yarn for the trapezoid sock pair. I've already got the first sock done. I actually showed it on the last regular podcast. Shorty sock. I just have to do the second one, and I'm going to do the second one reversed. So the black's going to be the main color, the blue's going to be the contrast color in the second one. So this is a hoe project. Actually, I only have to do one little shorty sock there, so that's not bad. This is one of those ones that I ripped the needles out of. Oh gosh. And I have like DP ends in here that I'm not even using. They were just holding things. Okay. So this is my holidays colorway. And because this was the batch that I dyed up this year, and because it dyed up quite differently than last year's batch, I decided I needed to knit a new sample of it. And so I started a sock, because that's what I do when I need to knit a sample, or I start a sock. However, I would usually just bind this off and then like sell the rest of the yarn as like a short skein or something. I've, making it clear that part of it was used. But anyway, I've decided I'm going to keep it. I really like how it's turning out, and I don't have a ton of Christmassy socks, so I'm going to keep this and I'm going to keep going on these. This pair. This is all the farther I am, but that will be a pair of Christmassy socks for me. So I'm happy to keep that one going. This bag, this has a finished sock in it, which this was my Dark and Stormy colorway from this past Halloween. And this was the sample sock that I knit with it and took to shows this fall. And I don't know, do I have the second one on the needles yet? Yes, I do. Oh wow, I'm even further than I would have thought. So I'm this far into the second sock, and the reason I have not really taken this along with me anywhere to work on it, I'm looking at this, and this looks much smaller. I wonder if I'm doing the second sock on a smaller size needle. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I don't care, but yeah, whatever, because it's just for me. Anyway, I haven't used this as a carry-around sock in a while just because I'm really close to where I'm going to need to start the heel. And this is the non-Euclidean heel, not one of my regular heels that I know how to do, or an afterthought heel. This one I actually have to have the directions and think about it to be able to do it. So this isn't a good carry-around project anymore, which is why it hasn't gotten worked on at all lately. But it's obviously quite close to being done, so I'm going to keep at it, and I will have a nice pair of Halloween socks. This bag, oh my gosh. Okay, so this sock I made at least 2 years ago. I think this was a sock that I did for Stash Dash 2 years ago. This is my Margarita Swirl colorway on Bedazzled. I knit the first sock because single socks count. And here's the heel yarn, and here's the rest of the yarn, and I just never did the second sock. So that is another hoe. I mean, isn't this crazy? I've got all these socks that are almost pairs of socks. That will get done. Okay, moving along. What's this? Oh my goodness, I forgot I even had this one. I honestly don't even think I have a project page for this one, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to finish this one. This was my my s'mores swirl colorway. And again, I cast it on just so that I could have a sample to show how it stripes up. But I can tell that I did not intend this to actually be a full sock, because look at my ribbing. I did like 4 rows of ribbing. I never do just that little bit of ribbing. Oh shoot. That's disappointing. I wonder if I could do a shorty sock out of this and have that be enough ribbing for a shorty sock. I'm going to have to think about that. Because I really do like the colorway, and I would like to have these socks, but I almost feel like I'd need to rip it out and do more ribbing, or rip back and do more ribbing, which would be almost like starting the sock completely over, quite frankly. But I'm going to hang on to it and see where we go with that as the year progresses. Okay, next. What's this? Oh boy, this sock. Okay. So this was a pair that I cast on. This is one of my this is Merry and Bright in a base that I don't carry anymore. But I loved the colorway. And I cast this on to do the Vanilla is the New Black socks, which is just basically a fancy heel. And I totally screwed it up, and so I ripped back to just the sock part, and then never did anything else with it because I was frustrated. And so here's the rest of the yarn. This was a merino bamboo blend. It was a really nice blend because it wasn't 50-50. It was 80-20, just 20% bamboo, and it was really nice. This sock has issues. It has like weirdness right here. I don't know what I did. But anyway, again, it's another Christmas colorway. So, you know, I can use Christmas socks. I would like to have more Christmas socks. I just don't know what I'm going to do as far as the heel at this point. I thought maybe I would do one of the non-Euclidean heels, go back to it and do the non-Euclidean, but I don't know if I will or not, just because I do have that heel going in a couple pairs of socks right now, I think. And this one, I may just, once I get to this one, I might just want to whip it out and do a heel that I know really well. So it could be an afterthought heel or a regular heel flap and gusset, I don't know. But I'm not ripping that one out like that. That's going to remain on the needles. Okay, moving along. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's another set that we have one finished sock except for the afterthought heel. This is some West Yorkshire spinners in the something colorway. One of the birds, I don't remember which one. And here's the second sock, and this is why I haven't worked on this very much, because this is the pair of socks that I was doing on the Flexi Flips, which they are not my favorite needles, but I didn't hate them. And I kind of felt like I really should finish the second sock in these needles too. But because of those needles, I just haven't really made a huge effort to keep working on it. But I will finish this pair, even if I have to stick them on regular needles and finish it that way. Okay, what's this? Oh, this was another Afghan. It was hiding over here with the with the socks. Let's divert back to Afghans for a minute. This is my little granny square. Yeah, granny squares. My miniature granny squares blanket. And you might recall some time back, I had decided I was just going to fold this in half and use it as a pillow cover because it's long enough to do that. I have some more squares that need to be attached on this end. But I thought, oh yeah, I'll just fold it over. Actually, it would go this way. And, you know, get a pillow form and have a pillow. And then I decided, you know what? No, I don't really want to do that because I really do like these little tiny squares. I love crocheting them. I don't so much love putting them together. It's not that big of a deal, but that's not my favorite part of this process. Plus, I don't do it particularly neatly. I'm not a great crocheter. But I really love how colorful this is, and I love the brightness of the white in between. I don't know if you can tell it's white because this lighting in here isn't fabulous, and I'm once again blocking light because there's a window over here that was helping. So anyway, I'm not going to just finish this off to finish it off. I just don't know what it's going to become. I don't know. But again, this is definitely a long-term project that I am in no hurry to finish. It's just sort of a perpetual project that's there, and I work on it when I feel like it. These little squares are awesome to work on in car trips. These and those log cabin squares that I talked about before. I like those for car trips. Okay, now we'll get back to socks. Here we go again. Here's another hoe. This is a sock of my own design. I think I was calling it the staggered rib sock. I have never written this pattern up. I don't know that I ever will, because I'm sure it's not the only one out there like this, but who knows, maybe I will someday. First sock has been done for quite a while. Second sock is not even on the needles. This yarn is, I don't even remember whose yarn this is. It's in the project page though. But Oh, these are definitely not the needles I was using, though. These are, oh, there's like 2 pair of needles in here. Interesting. Okay. I love it when I find needles. It's like, oh, magic. There's needles that I could be using for things. Okay. Anyway, this is one that I'm going to keep going on, obviously. This one is a Halloween sock. This was my Hallow Pie colorway. Again, it was started as a sample the very first year I did Hallow Pie as a colorway, and I just never finished it. And if I do remember correctly, the needles that are in here are maybe not even the correct size needles. I just swapped them out because I needed different needles, which is often a dangerous thing to do because then I'll pick it up and keep working on it on the wrong size needles. But yeah, anyway, Hallow Pie. This was out of my squish base, which is why I want to finish these, because I don't think I have any socks out of my squish base, and I really like it. It's the Corriedale nylon base, so I will keep working on those. And then this bag, this has 2 sock projects in it. These are the matchy motorcycle trip socks that I started on our trip for my husband and I, and this is another West Yorkshire Spinners colorway. I don't remember again which one that is. This one's my husband's because he likes ribbed socks. So it looks really small, but it stretches an awful lot. So that's as far as I got on his, which it's ready to have the heel started. I lost a bunch of stitches right here, so when I do get back to it, I need to pick those up. I'm doing the heel flap, the cuffs and the heel flaps and the toes in different colors. So obviously, because red cuff, the heel is going to be gold like it is in mine. This is my sock. It's a plain vanilla stockinette sock. So I'm actually on the heel, the gusset decreases on mine. So, yeah. So those will get done. I don't know when, but they will get done. And lastly, this is another Christmas sock. This was my Christmas Eve cast on in 2017, which I love it. I have one done, another half object here. So there's the first one. I love it. This is not my yarn, and again, I'm Sandy from Hawaii. She's the one who dyed the yarn. Tangled Strings. I don't know, is she still dyeing? I'm actually not even sure. But anyway, she has Tangled String Yarns on Etsy, and I got this from her, and I got it with this, and then I got it with half skeins of the green and the red to do, again, the heels and cuffs. And the second sock is cast on, I think. Is it? I thought it was. Yeah, here it is. Oh, it's actually, oh, shoot. All right. Well, it's cast on, and I just pulled the needles out of it. All right. But anyway, I'm alternating. I'm doing the heel and cuff and toe colors the opposite way that I did on the first sock. So they'll be matchy, but not quite matchy. And I now have to replace my needles back in the sock. That's brilliant, Lisa. Brilliant. One of these, and I'm not sure which, is going to end up being a car project. I'm going to just take one of these and like an easy one and put it in my car and work on it when I'm places that I have time. It may actually be this one. That would be easy to do. Okay, so those are all the socks. Isn't that absolutely ridiculous? I have to finish socks, and now you know why I don't want to cast on any more socks this year. This stuff back here, which you can't really see now, all this stuff up here on the pillows, this is stuff that was in my WIPs bin, but isn't even a WIP, or isn't something that's already been cast on. It's just stuff I got out and ready to cast on, or it's stuff I just don't know what I want to do with. So here's a ball of hand spun that I was going to make something out of and never did. I don't know. Okay, this little bag has all of the yarn and, again, needles and the pattern that I was going to use to make the Porto mitts, which were going to be a gift. This was in my folder of patterns from this year, and you see how far I got on, or for last year, you see how far I got on that. I don't know if I'm ever going to make these mitts, but I really would like to recoup those needles, so I don't know, we'll see. But they're here. This, what's this? This is getting frogged. I've decided. This is that balaclava that I started making for my son for Christmas 2017. I never finished it. I wasn't sure that I was going to have enough yarn for it anyway. It's such nice squishy yarn though. This is actually the yarn I used to make his afghan, and I had one extra ball. Yeah, I'm just frogging it at this point. The pattern was confounding me. I had made these before, so I know I could do it, but I just didn't have the brain space to do it when I was working on it. And now it's been sitting here forever, and I'm just gonna frog it. It's gonna get frogged. He has balaclavas, and the job he's working now does not require him to be outside shoveling snow. So that was really why he needed this, and he doesn't now. So I think this is just going to go in the frog bin. The frog, not frog bin, the frog pond. Okay. Sorry. I'm really, like, realizing that my boobs are right there. This bag, this bag has the yarn and needles and pattern for those little miniature advent mittens. Do you remember that project that I was going to do last year? Do you remember how far I got? I got the cuff of one. Literally, number 1. And that is as far as this got. And this looks huge to me. I've seen other people's and they look much smaller. I don't know why mine looks so big. Must be a gauge issue. I did not swatch for these. Anyway, I don't know what to do with this one. I'm not feeling as enthusiastic about this project as I originally was. But it's tuku wool. It's really nice yarn. So, I don't know. It would be good for mittens of some sort. This bag, hilariously, has yarn in it, but nothing else. Well, yeah. No, this one has needles too. Okay, so this is my Elvis Has Left the Building colorway on my sport weight base. I pulled this aside because I was going to make my mom a pair of socks out of this. And this is my exception. Remember, I had an exception to my not casting on any more socks this year. Except gift socks, and these are specifically one of the pairs of gift socks that I want to do. And Mom, if you're watching, surprise! I don't think she's watching though. She doesn't usually, I don't think. I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to make both her and her husband a pair of socks, Penguin colorway socks, because they do watch the Penguins, especially now that the Steelers are out of the playoffs. At least I think they are. I don't know. And then the other yarn in here is another sport weight ball that I wound into 2 separate balls. I was going to make myself a pair of socks. The needles are in here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe all these needles are in these bags. This is terrible. This is my... this is horrible that I'm blanking on this. Summertime Blues. There we go. Summertime Blues colorway. Technically, since I do have it in here, I guess I could count it as a pair that I could make, but I'm probably not going to cast these on unless I finish other things first, so we'll just leave those there. What's in this bag? Oh, goodness. Okay. This, do you remember this? I was so excited about making these fingerless mitts last year. So I don't remember what the name of this pattern is. It's in the project page, but I made the first mitt and I really liked it. But what I did not realize until I started doing the second one was that my cable is completely off on the first one. Not only that, but the cable was reversed in direction. That was errata. That was a mistake in the book. I think this was from the Knitter's Book of Wool, maybe. One of those books. I think that's where the pattern was from. Anyway, once I realized that this one is completely wrong because of the placement of the cable, I just didn't even bother finishing the second one that's correct. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should just finish it, because even if the cables are wonky, I could still wear them, right? They're still going to keep my hands warm, and I love the color. This is some Cascade 220 Heathers, which is like one of my favorite commercial yarns. I should just finish these and just wear them and say the heck with where the cable's at, who cares? Because if somebody's staring at my hands that closely, they probably need to find something else to do. All right. I think there's only 2 more bags. This is crazy. This bag, oh, this is getting frogged. I have decided. This is a big squishy cowl. It was sort of something I was designing. I made one already out of some of my own yarn. I called it the Big Squish. That one I made shorter though. This one's long enough to be doubled. And this yarn is from Destination Yarns in her Fall Run colorway, I believe, and Pine Forest. I love the yarn. The colors are beautiful. I'm just not like, this is like, okay, yeah, I'm designing this and I don't even want to finish it myself, so that tells you how exciting this is. I mean, it is cool and I like the pattern. I just haven't been able to get into doing it. I don't know. Every time I decide that I'm going to frog this, I look at it and then I think, no, I don't want to frog it. I need to make a decision. I just need to decide. But you know what? I can't decide right now because now I've looked at it again and I'm like, oh, but I like it. Ugh. This is a project that I have yarn wound up for. I know you can't really see all of it, and I'm not going to take it all out, but there's, I believe, 7 different colors of yarn in there. This is this is the fingering weight version of my Ridgetop yarn that I'll be coming out with, the non-superwash. And I dyed up yarn and have it all ready to go for a project to showcase this yarn as a sample. So it's just not cast on yet. I haven't had time to cast it on because I believe the pattern I decided on is a Marie Wallin pattern. I can't find my Marie Wallin book at the moment. Once I do, then I can cast that on. But that yarn's just hanging out in my jellyfish bag for right now. Isn't this bag awesome? Bird-like bags. She's not making bags anymore, so I'm super happy that I have a bunch of her bags because I love them. Okay, so there you have it. Those are all my WIPs. I've never been somebody who has really been bothered by having a ton of WIPs, even this many. It's never really bothered me too much. But at this point, it's kind of bothering me. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on the why of why it's bothering me. Part of it is just that they take up a lot of space, obviously. You know what? I'm trying to hold this thing so it doesn't wobble, but I'm making it wobble more. I'll let go. Anyway, excuse me. Yeah, having this many WIPs is starting to feel like a burden to me at this point. Not only from a space perspective, but also because, I mean, you saw how many pairs of needles are being, you know, used up, just sitting and not being used, actually. No wonder I can never find my US 5s, because that's the ones that I always are missing when I need them. I've got a lot of cool projects, and as we went through them, you know, I'm happy with most of them. I mean, there were some I was kind of lukewarm about, but for the most part, I really like these projects, and I like the yarn. I mean, there's the handful that I said, yeah, I'm going to frog these. There's the couple that I'm like, I don't know what to do, and so fine, those can sit in the bags for a little while longer. But before the end of the year, I'm either going to finish them or I'm going to rip them. Or if I don't finish them by the end of the year, I'm going to make a definite commitment to have them do them next year if they're really something that I want. I mean, like the Afghans, obviously those aren't probably going to get done by the end of this year, at least not all of them. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and this isn't even taking into consideration my spinning projects. Like my combo spin and Bunny, the BFL Gotland. Those are things I want to work on this year. 2019, I really want to make the year of finishing projects. I used to just take January and use that as my finishing projects month, but I think this is going to be a full year of finishing projects. I am not precluding casting on new things because I know I will, but I really want to focus on things that I already have on the needles, or decide that they don't need to be on the needles and rip them out, like the ones I already have decided, and some are undecided, but you know, for the most part. And like I said, I am not casting on any new socks. I mean, I might knit up some samples of new colorways, but they'll just be samples, and then I can sell the rest as a short skein. Yeah, I'm not letting myself do that. Anyway, I do have a new sweater though I want to cast on, which is crazy, I know. We won't talk about that right now. So that's where we're at. I was going to actually do the rest of my goals and stuff at the end of this podcast, but that will take too long. So I think I will save that part and talk about that during the next regular episode, which I will hopefully record. What day is today? Today is Thursday. So I probably actually won't record that till early next week. Yeah. So that's how I'll do that. But we'll just leave this be this episode of seeing all of these whips. And I'm so sorry if some of this makes anybody feel uncomfortable also, because I know that's a problem, especially like that. Like, so I know some people get very uncomfortable when people do tours of their stash, if they're very large stashes, or tours of like hauls that they've gotten from events. I know that kind of wool piggery, so to speak, makes people very uncomfortable, and I imagine maybe seeing this many whips in one location might also make people feel uncomfortable, just from the sheer quantity and the amount of yarn that represents. And I'm very sorry if that is the case. I'm fortunate that I do have a large stash that I've been collecting for many years. I'm fortunate that I'm a dyer, and I, you know, obviously some of these yarns are mine that I've dyed. I'm fortunate that I'm a spinner and I create my own yarn too. So I do have a lot of yarn, but this is my life. I mean, my business and my pretty much main indoor hobby is fiber related. So it's a lot, and I'm very fortunate and very thankful to have that. I recognize that. Anyway, but I'm also happy to share my stash with people too. Hence the many bags of yarn that I've taken to Goodwill recently. So I'm not stingy about it. I hope that makes things better. Okay, I'm babbling now. I'm gonna go, and I'll see you again soon for a regular episode. Bye.